We have some more performance tests here of games running on the ROG Xbox Ally X. We have information about the PlayStation 6 and the next Xbox. Where are they going to line up price, power, all of those things? It's going to be a very interesting next generation, and an update on the ridiculous stories going around about Xbox and them pulling inventory away from the big box retailers. The ROG Xbox Ally X comes out this week in 2 days. We're all going to be playing with our brand new handhelds if you're able to get a pre-order. I am seeing people see their shipments be pushed to December as a date of pickup, which kind of tells me that the first batch of ROG Xbox Ally X's at Best Buy have sold through and they're waiting for that next shipment in order for you to pre-order that, and then you're not going to be getting it for a couple of months. We will see if that changes when it does launch. Like I said, there could be walk-ins, not sure. I'll probably go to the store on day one just to see if there's any one that you can pick up if you did not pre-order it. I did do that with the Nintendo Switch 2 and had no issues picking up one of those on day one, but I will be getting one either way, as I do have my ROG Xbox Ally X pre-ordered. I will be testing out games, so let me know any games that you would like to see tested in the comments. But as we wait, some people have already got it in their hands. They got it early before the official release date, and we are getting more footage, more tests showing how games do officially run here on this device. In fact, we have some Battlefield 6, which I made a video about comparing the Z1 to the Z2 Extreme chips on my Lenovo Legion Go S versus the ROG Xbox Ally X, and there was a jump on the ROG Xbox Ally X for Battlefield 6 versus the Lenovo Legion Go S, but there's also Helldivers 2 here, Forza Motorsport, and more games that have been tested. So when it comes to Battlefield 6 on the ROG Xbox Ally X, it was running at low settings at a variety of resolutions. I believe it was 1080p, 900p, and 720p. And they were getting FPSs, depending on the resolution, I would say around from 40 to all the way up to 60 FPS. If you're running it at the lower resolution, obviously using FSR and all these things can help you get a higher frames per second when you're playing these games. Battlefield 6 is a brand new AAA game, and it runs well on current handhelds with the Z1 Extreme, and then it runs even better here on the handhelds coming with the Z2 Extreme. You have a Helldivers 2, and they say this was mainly on low settings, some that were turned up to medium and high, and it runs 60 to 70 FPS for the most part at 1080p. I will say, depending on the game, the low settings, when you're playing on a smaller screen, the 7-inch screen, all of those details are not nearly as important. So play on the low settings, this game's still going to look decent, still going to look good. Like Battlefield 6 still looks good on the lower settings, and then 1080p as well will be fine. Or even if you're moving it down to 900p, even 720p on a 7-inch screen, it isn't going to be a massive issue comparatively if you're playing on your big screen with your console. Forza Motorsport on high settings with ray tracing and AMD FSR seems to get around 50 to 55 FPS, which is very impressive because that is a beautiful game. That's a 1080p resolution, so again, impressive. And then you get around 60 FPS at the 900p resolution. So impressive stuff here for Forza Motorsport. Black Ops 6, this is an interesting one because this will be one that people will be playing a lot on this, and it is sitting in you can play it on the silent power mode, which is 13 watts with balanced graphics and AMD FSR turned on, and it hits around 40 FPS in this mode, which is impressive, especially on silent. And then when going up to the next power mode, which is performance, 17 watts is around 60 FPS. And at the higher power mode, turbo at 35 watts plugged in, the game can be played with extreme graphics settings at 60 FPS. So Black Ops 6, super impressive. I'm assuming Black Ops 7 will be very similar in terms of the way that Black Ops 6 runs, because there isn't like a big difference in the graphical elements between those two games. And if you're a Fortnite fan, it seems to be running at 70 to 80 FPS on medium settings when plugged into the wall. So you're at the highest wattage, 35 watts at 1080p. All of these for a handheld, very impressive, very exciting. You're getting AAA gaming in your hands, you're getting good results, and you're going to be able to enjoy all of these games. And the other thing that you have to keep in mind is that there is that certified program that Xbox did announce specifically for this handheld. There's also the Xbox full screen experience on there, so you'll know exactly which games run well, which games don't, before you actually do boot into them. So exciting stuff here. A couple of days here before the ROG Xbox Ally X does get into our hands, hit store shelves, and the launch, the shipments, all that stuff will be interesting to track just to see how many people do end up getting it actually on day one. Will their shipments land on time? Will there be any in store? And like I said, I'll go to the store. Maybe I'll make a little quick vlog doing that. Who knows? Like I did that for the Nintendo Switch 2 on my other channel. So we'll see about that. Now, the next generation consoles, the PlayStation 6 and the Xbox Magnus. Right now, I guess that's the code name. That is the chipset that's being worked on for the next Xbox. We're hearing so many different things. Both of them are sounding powerful, but the Xbox Series, well, I guess the Xbox Series Next, I'll call it, because I was about to say the Xbox Series X, is going to be apparently the more powerful console here, and it's going to be more of a luxury item costing more money, which would not be surprising in any way. We have this article here from VGC saying that the next Xbox should be stronger than the PlayStation 6, but more expensive. This report does claim, and it says that the AMD Magnus APU, an APU that combines a CPU and GPU on a single chip, will be the largest one ever used in games consoles, and according to Moore's Law is Dead, claims to be that it will be 46% larger than the one that was planned for the PlayStation 6. But because of this, because it's going to be larger and it's going to be more powerful, it is going to be more expensive, and it will more than likely be a hybrid console. This is one of the things that adds into the expense, adds into the power, is that Xbox, if they're making that hybrid console where you're getting Steam, you're getting all of your PC stuff, they're going to have to compete on the level where a PC gamer could look at that and think, yeah, this is adequate for me to want to go out and purchase this either as a main device to play my games or as a side piece to have under my TV when I'm not playing on my rig with like a 5080 or 5090 in it, but it will still give me great results when I'm sitting back on the couch or want to play in a more relaxed state. It's going to be expensive. I could see this pushing $1,000 and being something that will have good longevity here for years after it does come out. Like, you're not going to be having all of these issues of games not being able to hit the 60 FPS at a good resolution, which you see with every console generation, even with the Series X and the PlayStation 5 games just having issues pushing the higher resolutions and being able to hit the 60 FPS, as they all promised 4K 60 before the beginning of the generation. I feel like with this next Xbox, that will be far less of an issue if they're going to go more expensive and more luxury. The other question would be, how are they selling this thing? Are they going to sell this directly from Xbox? Are they going to do the whole retailer side stuff that they always do? I think that they will have some of both, but that will be another interesting thing, especially with all the lies and fake rumors that have been putting out about the Xbox being pulled from the big box retailers like Targets and Walmarts. And I have an update of that later on in the video. Again, debunked even by the retailers themselves. But that whole story has been absolutely absurd, that people are just making up lies now at this point to capitalize on the Xbox FUD, the Xbox fear, uncertainty, and doubt right now because of the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate price raise. But getting back to the next gen consoles, the next Xbox Magnus, more powerful, more expensive. I think it will be hybrid. You're going to get PC, you're going to get Xbox, you're going to get PlayStation games on there because they're on Steam. The PlayStation 6 itself, though, when is that one coming out? And when actually would the next Xbox console come out as well? We have this story here that the PS6 and the next Xbox consoles are both aiming for a 2027 release. We did just get the video from Mark Cerny talking with AMD. Didn't give us that much information. Doesn't seem like there was any major concrete plans here for the PlayStation 6 other than they're working on this chipset with AMD that will also be utilized more than likely in the Xbox, more than likely on PCs and everything, all the technology that they are working on. But when's the release date? Because the PS5 Pro has just come out. The PSSR has not been successful by any measure. And you would think by putting out that $750 PS5 Pro, they want to have maybe 4 or 5 years out of it and make sure that the people who did purchase it aren't going to be pissed off that the PS6 is going to come out probably around that price, maybe a slightly more, and be significantly better than the PS5 Pro. But we have this here saying that Kepler L2, who is an insider who accurately reported on AMD hardware in the past, says that Sony plans to release the PlayStation 6 in 2027. And in a thread discussing Sony and AMD's recent video explaining future technology, a discussion arose about Mark Cerny's claim that the new tech would be coming to a future console in a few years' time. And one user claimed that this meant 2028 at the earliest when taken literally. Another user suggested that Cerny uses a few wasn't necessarily to be taken literally, and that a 2027 release could be possible. And Kepler L2 here agrees, saying that the 2027 release is not just on the table. table. It's the plan, unless they have any unexpected delays to happen. And then, of course, Moore's Law is Dead came out with the AMD Magnus APU video about the next gen Xbox being more powerful than the PlayStation 6 and saying it is targeting a 2027 launch. And he says, I want to be clear that since the recent Xbox Magnus videos and RDNA 5 videos I have put out there, I've heard from even more sources that Microsoft is talking to partners behind the scenes and just openly saying 2027 is when Magnus launches. So, couple of things here to keep in mind. 2027 is probably the most obvious year for this to happen. Whether they actually know or they don't know, 2027 makes the most sense. The second thing is, we've seen the rumors, I believe it was from Kepler L2 as well, about the reason why Xbox wasn't making a first-party handheld that we've already seen not corroborated and debunked by other outlets like Windows Central and just Cordon and stuff. So you have to keep all that in mind when you're thinking and reading all of these rumors. But 2027 does make sense. You'll have Magnus versus the PlayStation 6. Magnus looking like it's going to be a more powerful hybrid console. PS6 is probably just going to be what PlayStation always does, which is a closed ecosystem for PlayStation games and selling a lot of their exclusives as the main reason to go buy it. Although we've seen from the sales numbers that that's not why people go out and buy PlayStation consoles. It's to play all of the third party and the Call of Duties and the Fortnites and everything along those lines. So this is a huge change in this generation, and we'll see what happens. And then the fact that Morzaz is also saying, whether you want to believe him or not, that they're openly saying that's when Xbox Magnus does release, again, destroys all of the crazy fake lies and rumors about Xbox canceling their next generation console. I mean, that's clearly at this point today, as I said, things can always change, is not happening. That was a false rumor that has been spread. Similar to the false rumor that was spread about Xbox consoles being pulled off of the shelves at Target and Walmart. We saw Microsoft themselves come out on Sunday for the second week in a row to debunk that rumor, saying that isn't true. And now we actually have Target coming out and saying, yeah, that rumor is not true. That's a false thing that is going around. You have this here from Cade Onder, who is a writer for Comic Book, Rolling Stone, or his work seen on Rolling Stone and Screen Rant and stuff like that. And he says, Target has provided a statement to me following the rumors that Xbox games and hardware is no longer being sold in the store. The spokesperson noted that Xbox products are still being sold at Target in-store and online. They say, we continue to sell Xbox consoles, games, and accessories both in stores and on Target.com. Select items are currently not showing up on Target.com because they are sold out. But once available, again, consumers will see them on Target.com. So again, debunked again for the second time. And the whole thing with this is just ridiculous. You can be mad at Xbox for raising the prices. You can think that they're dying and all those things. But literally taking clearly a fake rumor, and this thing got blown up, got published by every single news outlet out there, every single big social media account that people look at to be telling the truth and to actually have a good reputation. They didn't even think twice. They reposted it, didn't look into it at all. Instantly debunked by Xbox. So the misinformation surrounding Xbox right now is wild, and we'll see what the next rumor that comes out, because I'm sure this isn't the end. I mean, you see the traction these rumors do get. You see the traction of this negative Xbox news is getting. You can pretty much bet there will be more of this going forward now for a while. But on the video there, if you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.